welcome back to my channel. Hot girl doing hot girl things. If this is your first time here, welcome to the party. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, welcome back and thank you for being here. So today's video is a little bit different. I figured that you guys might be a bit bored of the vlogs, chat, and it's okay. I can do other things. So today's video is a cook with me. We're going to be making creamy white samp with lamb stew. No mukar, no mi stew. Guys, lamb stew, no mi lamb curry, and a side of spinach. So please do watch the whole video and try it out. Let me know what you think of the recipe. If you do try it out, let me know how that goes. And yeah, enjoy the video and thank you for being here. See you in my next video. Alright, so we're going to start by defrosting our meat the day before. Just put it in some water and let it do its thing. And the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to soak our samp overnight. Now, I know a lot of the samp samanje, like samanje, as will soak it overnight. But one thing about me, I'm going to do it the way my mom taught me. So right now I'm rinsing the samp. You have to rinse it until the water runs clear, or as clear as possible, because you don't want all of that starch involved in your meal. So rinse it as many times as it takes for the water to run clear.
We just want to make you go psycho. Put $100,000 in the Bible. I took the game with my eyes closed. Eyes first before the award show. Icons had it on my torso. Me and boy dipping in the torso. I ain't even taking on torso. Rush with this fire, I'm also. Young lady died on the floor, so she broke my heart to the core, so I guess we all gotta grow. I'm just an icon living. So we can live with this shit, did it. In a few over 5 minutes. That's not in the business. I'm going straight to the top of the road.
Alright, so after you have rinsed your samp, you want to add some cooking oil into the now rinsed samp and boil some water that you're going to use to soak your samp in. Make sure that the water covers the samp, right? So make sure that like sonke stamp sako is covered by the water so that it can soak kahle overnight.
Next day.
Alright, so now that it is the following day, you want to spill out that water that you used to soak your samp in, and you're going to put your samp in your pot. Sorry about that, my dad was going about his day. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is that you're going to boil some water, and you are going to add that boiling water into your pot with your samp, and add some more cooking oil just so that the samp doesn't stick to the pot as it cooks throughout the day. So yeah, right now I'm adding that boiling water to my samp, making sure to cover my samp with the water because it's going to cook throughout the day, right, at low heat throughout the day. Alright, so the next thing we're going to move to is shebo sethu. Angazi noma ngithi ukhari noma ngithi isitshuu yini, but you're going to take your meat and just rinse it. Make sure that it is clean, and then you are going to chop it into small pieces. Now, lamb is quite fatty, right? So you want to make sure that you remove as much of the fat as you can from the meat. You don't want it to be too fatty. So yeah, chop it into small pieces and make sure to remove the fat.
I'm digging you, make me believe that your love is hallelujah. It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling. All day long, your love is hallelujah. It goes on and on and on. You give me a anything you want from me, anything you want, anything you need, anything you so desire. Ooh, I'll give you anything you want from me, anything you want, anything you need, anything you so desire. Anything, 'cause your love is a hallelujah. Goes on and on. You give all day long. Your love is hallelujah. Goes on and on. You give me a really good feeling all day long.
Okay, so now we're moving on to spicing our meat. This is a spice mix that my mom made. She just mixed a number of spices together. And I am also going to add some, I guess, hot marinade sauce thing. Some Aromat for salt. So it's unbelievable. Some Tabasco sauce just for a little bit of a kick. One thing about me, I will always add Worcester sauce. Do you say Worcester sauce or Worcestershire? How do you guys pronounce that? Please let me know in the comments. Also adding some, I think that's paprika if I'm not mistaken, and some masala spice as well. I think that's, I want to say it's mother-in-law, but I'm probably lying, so I'm just not going to say it. And then, yeah, of course, my favorite ingredient in anything that I cook always has to be there. So, yeah, I'm mixing that around and I'm going to leave it in the fridge just so that it marinates throughout the day. I'm going to cook it later on in the evening, closer to serving time, because the samp is going to be on the stove the whole day. So you don't want to make ISISHEBO sako too early in the day, because then it just sits there on the stove waiting for the samp. And then the next thing is defrosting the chicken livers. So I'm just going to put them in a bowl and have some boiling water in there and leave it to defrost throughout the day. I know you guys think this is weird. I just know you think it's weird, but trust me, it slaps. Do make sure to check on your samp throughout the day to just stir it and make sure that there is enough water. If you do feel like there isn't, feel free to just top up the water a bit so that it doesn't get too dry. It should be getting fluffier and thicker throughout the day. Is thicker the word? All right, back to the chicken livers. Once they have defrosted, just opening that thing is always so tough, man. I always think I could do it with my hands, but yeah. So just wash your chicken livers. Make sure to wash them thoroughly, please, because them things can get so dirty, cha. And always try to inspect your chicken livers as you clean them, because sometimes they do have I really think in Nyongo they do sometimes have is it bile on it, and it's quite bitter. So make sure that you clean them thoroughly, and even as you chop them, do check out for some of those things, because like sometimes you'll find that as you chop it, you chop that bile and then it spills all over the livers and you have to wash them again. So make sure that you wash them thoroughly. Once you have washed your livers, do chop them into small pieces to make sure that there is enough to go around for everybody. You don't want like big lumps of chicken livers in your spinach. Did I mention that it's for the spinach? That's the part that I think you guys are gonna find weird, the fact that there's chicken livers in the spinach. But like I said, trust me, it slaps.
All of these niggas be on you. I'm just saying I can be, yeah, one that you call and you talk to, girl. I'll share my world with you if you're gonna waste your time.
Once you have chopped your livers, wash them again, because like I said, sometimes when you're chopping, the bile gets involved, so you want to make sure that they are as clean as possible. So do give them another rinse or two once you have chopped them. And like I said in my very first video, you have to soak your chicken livers in milk for an hour or so, just so that they aren't as bitter.
2 hours later.
All right, so now it's time to get started on ISISHEBO. I don't know which. Oh, that's my dad again. Yo, one thing about my dad, he's gonna be in my videos. So we're going to start with our robot peppers. After rinsing them, you are going to chop them or dice them. It's a dice. Yeah, you're going to dice them into very small pieces, as small as you can get them. Yeah.
All I'm drinking is champagne. All you want is the same thing. If you're gonna waste your time, then waste your time. You can have all the space, more than you need.
Tell me what you say now. Tell me what you said. You said that you would come again. You said that we would remain friends, but you know that I do not depend on nothing or no one. So why would you show up so uninvited? Then just change my mind like that. Please don't take this personal. But you ain't shit, and you weren't special till I made you so. You better act like you know that I've been through worse than you. I just can't keep running away. But I don't need you. 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 But I want you. I don't mean to. I don't mean to. I don't mean to. I don't mean to. But I lost hope. Everybody's like he's no item. Please don't like him. He don't wife him. He one item. I never listen, no. I should've figured though. All the shit you was spitting so unoriginal. But it was you, so I was with it. Then to tell you the truth, wish we never did it. Cause I usually do, stick to the business. But you came out the blue, and then you just flipped it. Goddamn, baby, my mind's blown. Be forgetting you live in a different time zone. Think I know what this is, it's just the time's wrong. Yeah, I know what you did, but baby, I'm grown. And my love is patient and kind of shit. This is where we could build through different types of shit. You was really the realest, wouldn't be fighting it. I think your pride is just in the way.
I hadn't called in. Would you have even told me about this?
Crazy. Of course I would have told you.
Yeah, like you told me about the Christmas party, huh? Or what about the parking garage? Yes, you told me about you being in a parking garage.
Of course, with your peppers comes an onion, so do dice a large onion. Sometimes I like adding some garlic, but we didn't have any on this day, so it was just the onion and the peppers.
And I was kind of embarrassed. How do I say it to you about looking like
Guilty? Like this.
I was good on my own, that's the way it was. That's the way it was. You was good on the low for a favor. I'm so faded love. Shit, what the fuck you complaining for? Feeling jaded up. Used to trip off that shit I was kicking to you. Had some fun on the run, though I give it to you. But baby, don't get it twisted. You was just another nigga on the hit list. Tryna fix any issues with a bad bitch. Didn't they tell you that I was a savage? Fucking white horse in a carriage. You should never could imagine. Never said you could have it. You need
We're about to get started on ISISHEBO Setu, and obviously first things first, you have to add some cooking oil. Ooh, that looks like a bit much, but okay, it worked. It worked. It worked. So yeah, we're gonna wait for amafuta just to warm up before adding the onions. It was getting a bit hot in the kitchen, chat, so I had to take off my jacket. So once I was satisfied with the temperature of amafuta, I added my peppers and my my onions, and I was just gonna let them saute in there until the onions were like a golden brown color. Once I was satisfied with the onions, I added some curry powder. I promise this is not the spice mix from earlier. The containers are just the same. So added some curry powder in there and let it sizzle just a little bit, making sure to always check on my samp. And then after that, I added my meat, which had been marinating from earlier in the day. Make sure to stir it in, stir it in, stir it in so that everybody is sitting well in the pot.
Meanwhile,
Next thing, we are tackling the spinach. So now I am going to chop it. This is after having rinsed it a bit, but after the chopping I'm going to rinse it again just to make sure that it is clean. One thing about spinach, sometimes there are those pesky little dust particles or even like little stones depending on where you get your spinach. So it's always a good idea to make sure that your spinach is thoroughly cleaned.
get some in now. Let your edge out. To some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now. Got me bummed out. You so baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mind, shit. I should've get from losing the best in me. I worry that I wasted the best in me. Oh, baby, you don't care. I'm trying to be a nuisance, this is urgent. Trying to make some simple change to be a war in my mind. Gotta let go away, he was holding me. Choose the right, but it will be up in front of me. On the wall, I wave my arm, I feel it. Still wanna try, still believe it. Good days, always inside. Good living in my mind. Show me on my fears, my limitations are disappeared. If you let me, feeling like Jericho, feeling like Joe, he lost his shit. Gotta hold my cross to bear alone. Ooh, way to live, way to kill the mood. No, you like that shit. Ooh, yeah, baby, heavy on my empty mind, shit. I gotta give them losing the first of me. Still worried that I wasted the best of me. Oh, you babe, you don't care.
Right, so the next thing is to put the spinach in a pot and then cover it with some boiling water. A lot of people like cooking their spinach with onions, but because I am going to add onions to the chicken livers, as you will see later on, I figured that it would be a bit of an onion overkill. So I just boiled the spinach in boiling water and just waited for it to do what spinach does.
Gotta get right, trying to free my mind before the end of the world. I don't miss no ex, I don't miss no text. I choose not to respond. I don't regret just.
Time to flavor the samp, but I first wanted to remove some of the excess water because I felt like there was a bit too much. So the first thing that I added to the samp was this blue cheese salad dressing. One thing about me, I like adding Cremora, but my mom and my sister made me feel so old school about it. They're like, no one still adds Cremora, you have to add blue cheese, what. So I was bullied into this. Okay, add Cremora, that's my thing. All right, so the next thing, I'm adding some stock margarine. If you do have butter, please do feel free to add butter instead, but we didn't have butter, so I added margarine instead. One thing in Aromat, okay? Your samp has to be unbelievable. So add Aromat and don't hold back. Don't be stingy. Just add the Aromat, okay? And then the last thing we're going to add to the samp is this cream of mushroom soup powder, and that just gives it a nice creamy mushroomy flavor. And for ISISHEBO sets, we're going to add this soup powder. I know it says beef cha, but hey, it is what it is, okay? So you're going to mix the soup powder in some water and then add it to your ISISHEBO and mix it all around so that it becomes a nice Shebo is Shebo, I guess. So once the spinach is cooked, you are going to drain that water. Oh, child, make sure you don't get burned by your pots, okay? So you're gonna drain the spinach and make sure that there is no water left in there. And then you're gonna set it aside while you do the next part of your spinach and chicken liver.
No, he's mine.
Alright, so after leaving some cooking oil to get warmed up, you're gonna add some onions to it and just saute them until they are golden brown. Girl, why is it not sizzling? I don't think this oil was ready. Okay, there we go. It's sizzling now. It's sizzling now. But yeah, so make sure that your oil is quite warm so that onions wako azongena ngevosho. You don't want your onions waiting for the oil to get hot, right? Cool. So while your onions are doing the sizzling vibe, you're going to add some curry powder onto the onions just to give them a bit of flavor, and then you're gonna let them sit in the curry powder for a short while before adding your chicken livers that have been soaked in milk. Try to get as much of that milk out, but if some of it lands in the pot, it's okay. Then you want to add some spice to your chicken livers so that they aren't flat. You know what I mean? You want them to be flavorful. You want them to be delicious, even though they're going to be in a salad. So add some of that spice and then let them sizzle away. Make sure that they are thoroughly cooked before you take them out. So yeah, keep checking on them, making sure they're good. And then once your chicken livers are done, you're going to add your spinach that you had left to chill earlier, and to that you are going to add the chicken livers. I am literally frothing at the mouth just looking at that, thinking about all that deliciousness. So you're gonna mix it around, make sure that there is spinach in the chicken livers and there's chicken livers in the spinach. And then you're going to add the final ingredient, which is mayonnaise. This is what brings everything together and makes all the flavors make sense. So make sure there is enough mayonnaise to cover your whole salad, I guess. And stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it. If you do need to add more, please feel free to add more. But this is the color you want. So you want it to look like a creamy brown vibe of goodness. Okay. And voila, here is our meal. It is Istanbul, some chicken livers with spinach and some lamb.